This New York Giants preview edition of the Sports Gambling Podcast is presented by WynnBET. Bet $50 at WynnBET and get $200 in free bets. Bet big, win bigger with WynnBET. Head over to sportsgamblingpodcast.com/WynnBET. That's sportsgamblingpodcast.com/WYNNBET to claim your free bets today. We're also brought to you by IPVanish. IPVanish is the official VPN of SGPN, and they're offering 70% off if you go to IPVanish.com/SGP. That's IPVanish.com/SGP. And make sure to check out our new Discord server, the perfect place to interact and sweat bets with the entire SGPN crew. Just go to sportsgamblingpodcast.com/Discord.
This is Nate Collins. You're listening to SGPN. Let it ride.
Cox. He's one of those guys who will get penetration.
Welcome everyone to the Sports Gambling Podcast. I'm Sean, stacking the money green with my partner in picks, Ryan, Real Money Kramer. What's happening, Kramer?
Dog. Take that shit off. It's clashing with the blue on the beautiful overlay. YouTube.com/Sports Gambling Podcast.
The late July energy. Usually have to wait to August to start shitting on the New York Giants, but we are doing team previews now, so I get to dump on them in the team preview and the division preview. That's what's great about the podcast, Ryan.
I don't like you again. It's more of just a color thing. It's hurting my eyes to look at that horribly green hat.
Don't be jealous of my sweet Eagles throwback cap.
I am I'm a big fan of birds of prey, so it does pain me that the Eagles are a fabulous bird of prey. But did some great bird watching while out. Beautiful Catalina. Shout out to the bros that were out there helping identify some of the marine birds hanging out with the. By the way, Sean, if you've never seen a pelican live, it's absolutely phenomenal. Pure dinosaur, pure pterodactyl.
All right. Yeah, I don't know. I gotta rack my brain to see how many live pelicans I've seen. All right, we're here to talk New York football Giants team preview.
Well, you're excited.
Got a special guest joining us in a second. I am excited, Ryan, because it's late July, camp time, getting all jacked up for the NFL. Hey, not only do you over at Wynn, where you can bet $50, win $200 promotion, aka $200 in free bets. That is a sweet opportunity. And for every $500 you bet on sports or casino between now and the end of July, you get a free entry to their ultimate fantasy football experience. You and your entire league could win a trip to Las Vegas to get to stay at the Wynn. Again, as someone who, when we were in Detroit, Michigan, hanging out, playing blackjack on the Wynn, I must have probably earned a number of entries here. And again, every $500 is a new entry to claim your free bets. Get in on all these opportunities to win. sportsgamblingpodcast.com/WynnBET. sportsgamblingpodcast.com/WYNNBET. Offer subject to change, terms, conditions at WynnBET.com. Must be 21 or older and present in the state where playthrough WynnBET is available. If you or someone you know has a gambling problem, call 1-800-522-4700. Joining us here on the line in the virtual studio, you know him from a number of podcasts on SGPN. He is a Giants super fan, unfortunately, Mr. Terrell Furman. What's up, Terrell?
Sir. Another season. We're back. I had to go on mute when Sean was talking earlier because I was just so enamored to just clap back, instant clapbacks. This is my favorite part of the season. The NFC East. I don't think there's a single rivalry in all of. Well, maybe the AFC North. AFC North kind of get but it's the NFC East. Yeah. That is the biggest rivalry in the NFL. All those teams absolutely hate each other.
Dallas versus anyone. Everyone gets up for Dallas.
I mean, we're not the biggest, let's make a list and debate a list aimlessly without giving you actionable betting information. But if you're rating the cumulative rivalry score of every NFL division, every team hates every team with the exception of maybe the Commandos, who have become a modern day Arizona Cardinals in terms of everyone just feels a little bit bad for them. But I think maybe even the Cowboys fans would say they hate the Commandos the most, historically at least. Anyway,
no love lost between these teams.
NFC least. That's what the fucking nerds would say. There's nothing here. Just a bunch of variants, different team poking their head up every year.
Yeah, new team has won the division every year. Last time there was back-to-back NFC East winners was 2003, 2004, of course. Philadelphia Eagles, nice little run there with Andy Reid.
That's crazy.
It is crazy. Yeah,
and nothing to show from it from that time.
Nice, Terrell. Nice.
Well, we did win a Super Bowl in 2017, Terrell. So
What was that? 14 years later.
That was the beginning of the winning culture.
We were setting the groundwork, laying the foundation for a strong Super Bowl house, and maybe you guys are doing this.
Sent them to school. That's literally sending them through grade school and then saying, "All right, now you're going to win a Super Bowl."
Yeah, maybe you guys can hope for the same in 14 years down the line of winning another Super Bowl. So.
All right. See, now Sean's taking it personally. We're here to talk about the Giants, not the Eagles. It's not your turn.
It is. I will be on the hot seat later on. All right, 2020 New York Giants.
Wait. Before we start, I got to introduce my pal here.
Oh yeah, who do you got going?
When we go through this. All right, so if you all know, I'm trying to be impartial during this. I don't want to come out here and just be a Giants homer. I don't want the bad reviews to come in like, oh, he's just a homer and all that. So I have taken the villain Rel persona that has encompassed the Giants fandom and put it into the villain Skeletor.
I like
now,
it.
Pop quiz. Do you know where Skeletor is from? What
He-Man.
show?
He-Man.
He-Man.
Hell yeah, dude.
He-Man.
Big He-Man.
He-Man
guy.
Skeletor will be representing villain Rel during this breakdown.
He-Man.
I will be representing myself, being impartial and talking just about the team. But Villain Rel here is gonna, talk a bunch of shit. So
shows our age.
For that.
Shows our age, Sean. That Terrell thought he was gonna get one by us with the He-Man.
Hey, no, if y'all didn't get that, I would have been disappointed. I thought you would have been disappointed.
He-Man was my guy. All right.
And for those not watching on YouTube and just listening, Terrell just showed
sportsgamblingpodcast.com/YouTube.
I love the plug, and now I'm gonna make fun of him. He showed off his doll that he's going to be doing the episode with. So
the action figures.
There you go.
Sorry. I knew there was a cooler way to say
What
it.
jersey are you wearing, Terrell? I can't
So
tell.
this is the Brandon Jacobs jersey. Yeah. Just going and getting the good vibes. I need a Super Bowl champion with me right now. So I'm getting the good vibes going.
Ryan went with Daniel Jones.
Who?
All bad vibes over
Excuse me?
Sorry, Dan Jones.
Look, and shout out to the Talking Giants podcast. If you want to get fired up and listen to a Brandon Jacobs interview, they interviewed him, and it was fun to hear his raw hatred of the Cowboys and things like. It's always good to hear the players when they also fucking hate the Cowboys.
It is
Sean,
fun.
even you would appreciate. that.
No, I do.
Brandon Jacobs, that's a football player right there.
How dare you put the tickets to the NFC Championship game in their locker room?
Come on.
How dare you? Oh boy!
Fun fact: Brandon Jacobs sat behind Cadillac and Ronnie Brown at Auburn before making his way to the NFL. So we can do Giants history too, if you'd like, Sean.
No, you
want to stay current?
No, we can talk a little history. I know you're not a big rear view man, but 2020 the Giants 6-10, 9-7 against the spread. They pushed on their win total of 6 last year, coming in sky high expectations.
Oh no,
4-13, 6-11 against the spread. Went well under the win total posted at 7. Ryan, do you have these stats of how we did?
7-10 against the spread. We both went 7-10 against the spread. Sean,
yes.
Preseason guess. You're an absolute stud selecting which teams are going to go 4-13. Another, I think if you guess every team goes 4-13, you're going to hit some. Absolute dart throw. I guess 9-8. I was slightly off. I will be the first to say. I'll be the first to say. My bad.
Variance.
I realized I was.
Pythag had him.
Shut your
at
goddamn mouth! I'm about to have a vulnerable moment, Sean.
It wasn't your fault. It was
everyone knows, Terrell, that I was part of the reason that the world caught All Rise Joe Judge mania. I misread the situation. I'm usually a good judge of character. In this situation, I was a poor judge of character, and that reflects poorly on me. And I've spent a lot of time this offseason reflecting. I was just out on a beautiful island, Santa Catalina, in the Channel Islands. And I just had some visions that suggested I needed to first apologize before I could come clean and finally end the Kramer FML tour. The Giants have been fucking horrible. I look at the The Football Outsiders are taunting me with their past performance, and it's just shitty season after shitty season. The fact that Pat Shurmur was like the bright spot, Pat Shurmur and Daniel Jones rookie year was maybe the bright spot. Sean would argue Ben McAdoodle was a bright spot. The fucking boat trip. I'm ready to be done with this shit. It ends now. It ends with Brian Daboll. It ends with Mike Kafka. It ends with Wink Martindale. It ends with Dan Jones. It ends with this fucking team.
Well, let me tell you why to be optimistic. And so this is the first time that this season that we're getting out of that old Giants way of thought. If listen to the tree of how this has been going. Our first general manager was George Young in 1979, I believe it was. George Young's replacement was Ernie Accorsi, who was the assistant GM to George Young. So here you go, that George Young. And then Accorsi's replacement was Jerry Reese, who was the director of scouting under Accorsi. And then after that, you have Gettleman, who was also player personnel under Accorsi. So all of this lineage to 1979, they sat here and they built a team based off of 1979. It is time. It is time for a change. That is what to be optimistic about because we finally have something new in the building. And Villanreal Skeletor here said, fuck McAdoo.
Fuck McAdoo.
But Ben McAdoo, meanwhile, has been the best head coach for the Giants in the past decade.
Yeah, fuck you. Why would I give a shit what you think about the best of anything?
I thought McAdoo was pretty solid, and they've 11 wins, got you to the playoffs. Why did you guys run McAdoo?
They've had a who's who of Asperger's and fucking off the spectrum guys the last couple of years. Now they have a player's coach. He shows up in a fucking badass pickup truck. He's got a bald head. Sean, you'd want to hang out with this guy.
J's on the field. Come on.
He's relatable. Oh, and maybe you're a nerd into NFTs. Brian Daboll ain't got time for that. That's why he hires the offensive genius from the Andy Reid, the Kansas City Chiefs. The only reason Patrick Mahomes is who he is, Mike Kafka in the house. I mean, they're going to be remixing some offenses. And then you bring, the most exciting thing for me as someone who grew up with exciting, aggressive defenses who weren't looking to react to you, but actually be aggressive and be the one dictating is Wink Martindale. Patrick Graham, you can hear people say nice things about him, but the motherfucker was just trying to not get hit in the face. It was a bend but don't break defensive style when your offense sucked. And that was stupid. And now we're going to come in and at least we're going to throw some punches. We're not going to just sit there and play I'm excited on all fronts because everything is aggressive. Everything is aggressive, and everything, like Terrell said, is the opposite of what it was before. I recycle this a lot, but Red Bull Racing, if you don't do different, don't expect different. The one thing Gettleman may have blessed us with, fourth generation from the original tree, the seed had grown rotten, or perhaps the soil is rotten, but the tree has grown rotten. What's exciting is that moment when John Mara kicked the fucking trash can, he said, fuck it, fire everyone, including my brother. And when that happened, family members are being taken out, Sean. That's a sign of change.
We instantly got +2.5 on that win total as soon as that happened. Literally, as soon as the last person left the building, they said, all right, well, give them 2.5 more wins.
The happiest moment this offseason came when Chris Mara was no longer listed on the company website. Like, no bullshit. People were screenshotting it. Terrell can vouch. It was a happy the Make-A-Wish kid, Sam Prince with Kayvon Thibodeau. That was fucking awesome. Number 2, the Mara blood being removed from the website.
Maybe that was the Make-A-Wish kid's wish, was to have the Mara removed from the building.
Inject his blood into my body because this guy's got what it takes. Look, I think you can be you and just think they're gonna suck because Daniel Jones isn't the guy and the roster is bleak and the secondary might be bad. That
is a fair take.
But as a Giants fan and as just someone objectively looking at the team, there is not.
Wait, which one are you?
Both. There is not a team that has made more change that should make you optimistic as a modern football fan.
Long term,
you signal. Our offense is going to become more modern. You signal our defense is going to become aggressive. You signal spreadsheets are cool. I mean, to read the stories of the IT department not understanding how to implement the software that Joe Shane wanted to implement just shows you how in the dark ages they were. So everything is modernizing, and I get it. That the obvious objective bumps are like not having a guy like Bradbury play for you and have him play for the Eagles is not a good thing.
Oh my God.
It's not a good thing. And not having, you know, some of the talent that you had to not sign because of the financial situation that Dave Gettleman has left the organization in is not good. But the reason for optimism is because we know two things. One, we know new scheme can bring opportunities to an offense, and we know this offense at a minimum has some talented guys on the offense.
Yeah.
And no, wait, because he said the good things. You got to talk about the negatives too.
Well, I'm getting there
because look, every good team has this little bit of controversy. There's always that little bit of controversy when we think about the Patriots and all the gate things that they did. I can't even repeat all the gates. They had a million gates that you were running through with that Patriots organization. When you had Bounty Gate with the New Orleans Saints, this team, Brian Daboll got hired. And then there was immediately a class action that said that it wasn't a fair hiring practice.
Oh yeah,
New England Patriots coach outed him.
I forgot about that whole
now Daboll has to come into this. Daboll has to come into this, and he has to blow everything out the door. He has to make it so you have to be so certain that he was the guy. He has to come out the gates running to go ahead and shut all of that up, because while we aren't talking about it right now, it's happening behind the scenes. There's still a class action going, and he has to have a great season to show them like, nope, I was the best man for the job.
Well, the irony is, I agree with Terrell. I think there's going to be a lot of blowing going on for the Giants.
The irony is that if the owner did the old owner ways of just not listening to anyone else, they would have probably hired Brian Flores, because that was who John Merrill wanted.
Yeah.
I think whatever. But yeah, I mean, I just think there's not many teams who have made more positive, AKA modern changes in their organization this offseason. And when you look at Daniel Jones, the fact that he does happen to have some of the same characteristics as Josh Allen.
Don't do this, Ryan.
Big and strong.
Friends don't let friends compare Daniel Jones to Josh Allen.
Has a good deep ball. Like, one of the better traits he has is a good deep ball. A lot of improvement areas, but maybe a better offensive line helps that. Maybe smarter play calling, getting your playmakers into space helps that, gets the ball out of your hands quicker. Look, I get it. Daniel Jones is going to do I understand purgatory. It's Daniel Jones doing just enough to get everyone excited, and then Daniel Jones not being the guy, but the team invests in him. I believe. Go ahead, Terrell.
No, a Villarreal Skeletor said put in a Daniel Jones MVP ticket.
No, I mean, I would, and this is, you're going to sound like it's a bit. I would, if you gave me the option, I would rather have a Tyrod Taylor MVP ticket than a Daniel Jones ticket. Because I think
you're just trolling. Like, at this point, it's not even funny anymore, because there's no way.
I do like Tyrod better than I like Daniel Jones. I think that's a fair opinion to have. I've seen Tyrod is a competent NFL quarterback, and we really haven't seen that. Tyrod Taylor.
You can't pronounce either quarterback in the Giants' name. Tyrod Taylor. Tyrod Taylor. Hokey,
757.
Hell yeah, 757
is a solid, competent quarterback. I think.
Yes.
You laid out a great case about why you should be high on the Giants as a franchise long term, but I think there is just too much to fix, too many holes on this roster to have meaningful impact year one. I think they can be a better team and still not get anywhere close to winning 8 games.
I think the real world hate on this team makes a lot more sense to me than the fantasy hate on Daniel Jones, because I think the change for him in fantasy, it's almost more foolproof, because if they're not a good team, it's because the defense is still really bad, because they don't have a secondary and the pass rush isn't there, and Wink can't even materialize it. And in that case, Daniel Jones is doing a lot of stuff, or they're winning, and Daniel Jones has become a little bit of a red zone running threat, and he's throwing dimes to Galladay. He's hitting Tony and Barkley in space, and they're doing magical things with the ball.
Now I just think no, if everyone has a career year and fixes all their issues, I agree they could be a good team. Now it's very easy to beat up on Joe Judge.
He just can't say anything.
No. It's going to be a positive, but then followed up with a negative. Joe Judge, you don't have Joe Judge, which overall I totally agree was not a good coach. Was early on that.
It's true.
There are
good call, Sean.
There are
great call.
I mean, got it. I was right about Joe Judge.
Sean's confused. He does like being right.
One thing the Giants did do well under Joe Judge was avoid penalties. So tied for 28th in penalties last season, and their special teams, they were like 11th in DVOA of special teams. So normally when you bring in a new head coach, you're expecting maybe he's going to clean up some sloppiness. So I think those were two areas where Joe Judge actually did a good job. And I think it's going to be, I think you're going to go down.
You really showed up to the 2022 Giants preview with a pro Joe Judge take. No, after that heartfelt,
I think when you
second and 9,
when you make the mistake of hiring a special teams coach to be your head coach, like they did, I think your special teams are better than league average, and that was one of the rare bright spots for the 2021 New York Giants. Brian Daboll, 10 years as an OC and quarterback coach. Only one season with the top 10 pass DVOA. That was Josh Allen in 2020. He wasn't even top 10 last year. Now he's coached like Kellen Moore, Brett Favre at the end of his career and not gotten great results. I think
you just casually put Kellen Moore and Brett Favre in the same.
Definitely.
Brett Favre at the end of his career, that was pretty
you're conveniently leaving out the 2017 Alabama national championship team that he called plays for. So I thought
we were talking pro football here.
We are, but
you can hang out with Colby, talk that college bullshit.
I think that's a fair case that obviously he had.
I think you can only do so much. I think you can only do so much as a head coach and scheme. I don't think Daniel Jones is the guy.
Well, and what would you do? You would want to have a really thoughtful offensive coordinator, Mike Kafka, someone who could build a system around a player. I think that's the exciting thing about Daniel Jones. I agree. Maybe his ceiling isn't Mars. Maybe it's only the moon. But we at least get to see something this year that doesn't resemble throwing a square peg into a circular hole. And I think that's what Jason Garrett was doing. I mean, to argue that there isn't going to be just an implicit gain from going away from Joe Judge and Jason Garrett and going towards Brian Daboll and Mike Kafka, I get it. It's scary. It's scary to accept that there's this positive change that's going to happen.
No, I think they can have.
I'm actually convinced Jason Garrett was a spy. I'm 100% convinced he was a spy, and they knew that we were on an upward trajectory, and Jason Garrett was sent there to actually destroy everything we worked to build.
I mean, you just look at Daniel Jones, the passing touchdowns, 11 in 2020. I stood on my soapbox and said his touchdown over under for 2021 was like 24.5. And I was like, there's no way even if he doubles his passing touchdowns, he would not hit the over. He actually went down from 11 touchdowns to 10 touchdowns.
Second toughest schedule last year, third easiest this year.
I think what they have going for them is the easier schedule. I think by win totals, it's right up there neck and neck with the Eagles as far as the easiest schedule. I think you do have a coaching upgrade.
Yes.
Just implicitly by how bad Joe Judge was. I still think your biggest weakness, and I like Wink Martindale as a coordinator, but I don't think he has the cornerbacks or secondary to implement as aggressive as a style that he would normally want. You can't leave if it is Dory Jackson's your best cornerback by a long mile, and in the passing NFL, I think that's going to be a problem. And to your point, maybe
100%. That's the
maybe I will
problem.
be moving Daniel Jones up my rank as far as fantasy, because I didn't realize how bad their secondary was. So maybe they will end up in some shootouts where he can get some garbage yards.
You know, in the range of outcomes is last year's Ravens defense, right? What happened? The pass rush didn't get there. They got beat a lot by a lot of points. And so, you're right. But I think the other side of that is you have pass. I mean, Ojulari had 10 sacks last year. And, Kayvon Thibodeau, who knows? He's obviously a guy Wink wanted. So if you can get home, though, you help the secondary, and maybe the secondary just shows up as being average. Because I'm very concerned that Adoree Jackson is the number one guy, and just frankly all across the board. I mean, Aaron Rao, the guys who they have you pencil in as starters, it's scary. I mean, Flott could be starting a bunch of snaps.
And to kind of add on to that, it's more of if those 4 can get home, because we think about those Baltimore defenses and what they used to do. They used to blitz a lot, and you could blitz a lot when your corners are good and your corners are able to hold their own. But in our case, we're not going to be able to blitz too often because our corners are going to get beat in the first couple seconds. And so if that front 4, if you add those 2 and add Leonard Williams in the middle, if that front 4 can get home against a lot of teams, then that opens up a lot more for what we can do defensively and throw a bunch of different looks at people. And
I think we'll get to in the schedule, but perhaps they have, maybe so they have some opportunities early to go against some teams and get some stuff figured out. I will say, Sean, and this is a pro Daniel Jones. Notice how I said Daniel because that was last year. I am looking in the rear view. This is a pro Daniel Jones comment. All comments about Dan Jones are positive. Daniel Jones was only in the lineup for 10 games, full games. They were 4-6, negative 27 point differential. Okay. Now, if you just take a look at the times he was on the field with his receivers, because again, the Giants were, I think, second most in adjusted games lost to injury last year. If you look at games where Shepard, Galladay, Toney played 60% or more, Jones produced 0.234 EPA per dropback. I pulled this stat because it's great and it makes him look great because that was second best in the NFL if you projected over a full season. The offense was not good, 18 points per game, but they dropped to 9 points per game without him. And Sean, trivia: who were the quarterbacks who started for the New York Giants last year that weren't named Daniel Jones?
No idea.
Jake Fromm.
Oh,
and Mike fucking Glennon.
Oh yes. So your good buddy Mike Glennon. For as bad, again, if you prorate the 4, they were a 7-win team when Daniel Jones was healthy. If you prorate that over the full season, so again, their win total this year is 7. So they're not saying there's a ton of improvement if Daniel Jones stays healthy. I know you're a big injury wisher, and you're probably wishing Daniel. No, I mean the guy just got out of his chair. Just got cleared for contact because of his horrific neck injury.
The last thing I'll say is that Daniel Jones, aka Dan Jones, again, the deep ball, if he does have time, if Evan Neal and this upgraded offensive line gives them a little bit more time,
they're a lot better.
A lot better, Terrell will tell you. Jones attempted only 24 deep passes last year, but not one of them was turnover worthy. You can't say that about any other quarterback.
So it sounds like he's top 5 quarterback in the league.
Not saying he's top 5, but there are some strengths to be extracted here.
Skeletor said that Daniel Jones is top 5.
Oh, and 130 to 1 for the MVP. That's juice. Can you win the MVP?
How much are you going to put down
and the comeback player of the year in the same year? Do you also get the triple crown with the offensive player of the year? If that's the case.
No, all these are locks.
If Daniel Jones rushes for 10 touchdowns, does he win the offensive player of the year?
No. Giants fell to the worst in the league last season, 2.7% DVOA. The defensive front allowed the most adjusted line yards per carry of any Giants team in the past quarter century.
Let's get out
and don't break.
Yeah, you're gonna.
But you guys broke.
Patrick Graham was not the right guy for that team, and he's gonna have a good defense. I guarantee his defense is good, but he just wasn't the right guy, and I'm glad he's gone because I want a team that's going to try to go get the ball, not just sit there and wait for it. When you're running QB sneaks, 2nd and 3rd down, you can't have a defense.
2nd and 9 from the 4-yard line.
That was pretty funny.
4-yard line.
But if you're going to play,
when you go viral for play calls, you know it's time to change.
If you're going to play offense like that, you got to be aggressive on defense, and clearly they weren't planning on doing. All right,
Ryan. Speaking of aggressive, there are tons of people trying to get into your internet traffic. Whether it be hackers, your ISP, your old lady, whoever it is, you need to lock up your internet traffic with IP Vanish. Oh, it's the only VPN we use. We trust it here at SGPN for all the things we're up to. We use it on God's Eye. You can use IP Vanish on a streaming device like a Fire Stick. They have the plan is great because you can use it on unlimited devices. So you sign it up, you put it on your phone, your wife's phone, kids' devices. If you're traveling, you're going overseas, you're hanging out at some sketchy Wi-Fi, you need it locked up. Getting hacked, or again, if you have financial stuff on there, crypto, if you're involved in crypto, they take that crypto. You're just SOL. There's really no recourse there. So you need to be using IPVanish. IPVanish.com/SGP, 70% off their yearly plan, plus a 30-day money back guarantee to ensure you love it. I know you will. IPVanish.com/SGP. Kramer, let's talk 2022 odds for the New York Giants. Get this over at WinBet. Win total sitting at 7, over +105, minus 125 on the under. To win the NFC East, +750. To win the NFC, 50-1. To win the Super Bowl, 100-1. Make playoffs, +260. Miss playoffs, -335. Let's get to the schedule, Kramer. What do we got?
No
Walk us through
fucking respect. All right, Terrell, you ready for this?
Yeah,
well, you guys haven't won more than 6 games in like a decade.
Yeah, we were just talking
26.
about that. You're stuck in that rear view. What is your life like? Just looking backwards the entire time.
Oh, that's great.
He gets into a lot of accidents because he's just looking behind him, trying to make sure it's somebody tailgating him, and he's just looking like, oh my God, this guy's on my ass, and he's running into the people in front of him. That's not a way to live your life, Sean. You really got to do better than that.
I need a Photoshop of Sean sitting in the back seat of one of those old station wagons that had the seat in the trunk that faced backwards. Feels perfect for him. All right. First 4 at Tennessee, Carolina at home, Dallas at home, Chicago at home. All right. That's a friendly start, Sean.
Okay.
That's a Tennessee. So we're worried about the secondary because who on Tennessee? Is it Treylon Burks you're worried about? Maybe it's a ACL recovering Robert Woods. Is it Ryan Tannehill?
You got no. I mean, I just said
that offense.
I just said
scary.
your rush yards were historic. What was it? Your rush defense, and yeah, sure, it gets a little better, but you were at a quarter of a century bottoming out for the franchise.
Different.
Derrick Henry's going to run
person in Tennessee's secondary.
Yeah, exactly. We could have a situation.
Tell me one person who's going to tackle Derrick Henry. That would be my counter.
Leonard Williams. Blake Martinez. We can do this all day. All right. Anyway, I like the way, because then you have Carolina, then you have Dallas, who I guess we're going with the idea that Dallas might be a decent team this
Monday
year.
night.
That's trash. Dallas is bad. What makes
and then the Bears.
Makes us sit here? What makes us But what changes did Dallas make from last year to this year that ever makes you think that they're going to be any better than what they were last year?
They lost. I mean,
there's nothing positive that came in that you're like, oh wow, they're going to be really, really good because of that.
No, they didn't seem to improve dramatically. The Cowboys.
However, when I do win totals, especially in the NFL, because of the rivalries and especially the NFC East, I kind of pencil, unless teams are like if you're like the Kansas City Chiefs a couple years back where nobody else was really in the division, then I'm like, all right, you're probably going to be 4-2, 5-1 in the division. But at the most of the time, regular teams and the Giants, how I'm handicapping them as a regular team, I just kind of handicap 3-3, 3-3 in the division. Bit. It just feels safe. Regular team. It feels okay.
So Ryan,
3-1. 3-1.
What do you got going, Terrell? First 4.
Well, hold on. Let me ask Villanreal real quick. Villanreal, what you?
3 home games.
Okay,
come on.
Yeah. So Villanreal said that first week is a trap, and he has them at 4-0 at this point in time. I will be conservative since Villanreal said 4-0. I will be conservative and say that it is a 3-1 because Cowboys. We're beating Cowboys, Bears, Panthers. Yeah, 3-1.
I'll be optimistic and say I'll give you guys 2 wins because I think the Panthers could be a letdown spot after the game against the Browns. And you know what? I'll say 1-3. I'm gonna make it officially 1-3 because I don't think you're beating them.
I'm gonna be optimistic 1-3.
I switched from optimistic to realistic because I don't think you're beating the Bears and the Panthers. I think it's one or the other. So I got you 1-3
at home.
Next,
do you want me to pull up your record at home?
Terrell, you don't.
This isn't new. This is a. Oh, there's that back seat.
Yeah, he's sitting.
Wow,
He's sitting
man, just looking in the rear view the whole time.
Terrell, you're
might
a
as
little
well be
bit
driving backwards.
You're a little bit younger, Terrell, but back when we were younger, they had these station wagons with a seat that faced backwards.
No, it's from that '70s show. I know what you're talking about.
Hell yeah! All right, next up, we got but Green Bay in London.
Mm-hmm.
Baltimore at home, little Wink Martindale revenge spot there. At Jacksonville, at Seattle. That's a tough back-to-back road situation. Going down to Jacksonville, out to Seattle. Neither team should be all that good. I don't like their chances against Green Bay over in England. Although will Aaron Rodgers travel out of the country with his new persona? Will Aaron, aka Nick Cage Rodgers, even give a fuck about going to London? I mean, I guess I'll say one. Do I say 1-3 here or 2-2?
Wow. Okay. Now we're talking
2-2. All right. No, we and Terrell are just having a conversation.
We're gonna beat Jacksonville on the road. That's
what
a
do
tough
you got,
spot.
Sean?
I'll give you guys 2-2, 3-5. That sounds about right.
All right, then we got.
It's either we got the revenge spart from Wink Martindale against Baltimore, or we just went ahead and swept the back-to-back road game slot. But Gigantor also agrees. He says 2-2. He tried to make the not Gigantor, Skeletor, but he tried to make the case, but he said nope. I gave us 4-0 in the first, so I'll give us 2 losses here.
All right, next up, coming off the bye week, so right in the middle of the season with the bye, or near middle of the season, 17 weeks. Can't have it. Houston, Detroit, both at home. Our Texans at Dallas, Commandos at home. So
1-3. The things fall apart. Here.
Wait. Come on now, Sean. We have to be. Let's be logical here.
Yeah,
you're taking Davis Mills on the road.
I like Davis Mills. But
we do like the Texans.
Are you taking Davis Mills on the road?
No.
On the road. It's not a home game.
Teams coming off a bye have been bad, so I might.
Davis Mills on the road. That's a loss.
Dan Campbell, he's a real
Campbell
coach.
coming on the road.
Jared Goff,
Giants.
So you're gonna.
I think you guys will beat the
Sucks Island. You're gonna hop.
I think you guys will beat the Commanders or the Lions at home, not both.
Sean.
So that's 2-2.
Jared,
no, either or, and then you'll lose to the Texans.
Jared Goff, small hands in the cold confines of MetLife Stadium, November 20th. Come on.
So I got you. What 4
That's
and
a 2-2 stretch?
Yeah, I think so. Well, they definitely
4-8.
Here's where I struggle. They definitely are going to beat. They're going to beat the Commandos. All right. So you're saying I should split the Commandos and just say 2-2. All right. Fair.
We're gonna beat the Commanders. That's for sure. But we could possibly drop the Lions.
All right, so
if I had to pick somewhere to drop, it's the Lions.
Are you saying 2-2 as well, Sean? Or are you saying 1-3?
1-3. I've given out 4
that
wins.
That does not
Giants.
seem objective. I'll be honest.
It doesn't.
Next up,
Terrell, it doesn't.
We got
it's
the first matchup between the Eagles Giants, December 11th, in MetLife. Then we have at Washington, at Minnesota in the spaceship, and Indy at home.
Before we go on, can we talk about the softness in the back part of this schedule? The back part of the schedule is extremely soft.
Well, getting Washington twice in a couple weeks when what is it going to be like? Broken down Carson Wentz at this point?
Well, but again, to Terrell's point, the NFC East games, even if you suck, they end up being
randomly
probably
get up for.
They end
but
up being
if Taylor Heineke isn't playing in those games, I'm not worried.
Yeah,
like I'm not. Who's scared me? Sam Howell? Am I scared of Sam Howell?
No, probably not. I guess I worry a little bit about Indy could be a good team, but that's also Matt Ryan in the cold. Matt Ryan's really old at this point.
Outside of a dome.
Vikings. That actually is a tough place to play sometimes.
I think we'll lose that one. I think that's the
2-2,
especially after playing 4 division games in a row, and then you go on the road to play the Vikings. I think that's an ultimate spot.
I'll give you 2-2.
We'll probably get blown out. We always get blown out by the Vikings.
I'll give you 2-2.
All right, Terrell, 2-2.
During that, I gave us the first. Yeah, 2-2 during here.
Last
we're gonna split. We'll split with the Eagles.
Oh, all right. If we're gonna split with the Eagles, I'm going 3-1 that last stretch. All right, last game at Philly. That's the game they'll drop that game. Eagles will need it.
We could be. Here's my prediction: we'll be resting our starters, and we'll still get the victory. Go Birds!
Like
under
this
6,
is why he gets reviews. This is why he gets the reviews like he does, because he sits there and says everything negative about it, and then says, "Oh, but we're still gonna win." I don't know how, but we're gonna win.
All right, so
I'm about to go put in a bad review right now.
6-11. That's
Sean has 6-11.
Yep.
Terrell, you have.
I think I have us at 9-8.
9-8,
and then Villain Row has us at 12-5.
12-5. And then I have 10-7.
All right, we're gonna get to some alternate or some futures here. Of course, what about the future you that could be using a thank you? That's right. What am I talking about? I'm talking about Dave. That's right. We've all been in a situation, a little long cash. Maybe you were betting on the Giants, and the things a little tight financially. Again, economy's not doing great. Crypto could be down, your investments, maybe you're not working as much as you used to, whatever it is. We've all been in a situation where, hey, if you're working construction, not getting a lot of gigs right now, things could be a little tight. And that's where Dave comes in to help. You can tackle the expenses that are, just making your life a huge pain in the ass. No interest and no credit check needed. Millions of people have already downloaded the Dave app to get the financial relief they need with extra cash. So if you're in a pinch and need some extra help, download Dave and think of it as a helping hand from future you. Download the Dave app from the App Store right now. That's DAVE. Sign for an extra cash account and get up to $500 instantly. For terms and conditions, go to dave.com/legal. Instant transfer fees apply. Banking provided by Evolve. Member FDIC. Future you. Well, thank you. All right. Future bets. What do you got?
First of all, I'm on the over.
Okay.
I love.
Yeah, for sure.
I love, and that's just free. Feels free money-ish. I also love over 8 plus 225.
What's the alternate going the other way? So I'm on under 7.
You're gonna have to source that yourself. Under 6 is plus 175.
Ooh, under 6. Yeah, I'll do.
You gave us 6 wins.
Yeah, I was being generous because you're on the show, Terrell. Under 6 plus 175, like that.
Division 9-1. Terrell.
My haters are my motivators. Division is so. I have an even better bet.
Oh,
and
tell me.
This is collaboration between me and Sean. And when I say collaboration, I mean Sean actually had nothing to do with it. It just so happens to have his team in there. Top 2 finish in any order, but top 2 finish.
Yeah, I'm in on this.
Eagles and Giants both to finish as 1 and 2. Doesn't matter what order. 10-1.
Oh, okay. So this is just this is an ultimate Cowboys Commandos fade.
Just fade the Cowboys, fade the Commanders. We finish top 2. Doesn't matter what order. Of course, we're going to be the champions.
I'm going to write this one down.
Doesn't matter what order, and 10-1 bet. It sounds like a lot to me.
Yeah, and I would say it's a lot for a reason, Terrell.
Sean's not even getting in. I love it.
I like the idea of fading the Cowboys and Commandos, but I think to be second place in the division, you got to have a winning record.
You don't think 6 wins is going to get there?
That would really put me in a box.
66% of this show says that we're going to have a winning record.
Terrell, and I think it's pretty clear to the audience who is driving while facing forward and who is, hands on the wheel and.
I'm talking about he's not even in the. He's got a freaking rock that's pushing the gas pedal down, and he's sitting in the back seat chilling.
It is. I mean, it feels a little like Sean just mailed this episode.
I'm looking at the look ahead lines. It looks like maybe through.
How many times will the Giants be favored?
Yeah, 4 or 5 games.
Giants will be favored against Carolina, Chicago.
I don't know about Carolina.
What do you mean you don't know about Carolina?
I think if Carolina looks really good, they could be a small favorite
on the road. What are you talking about? Put your brain on. You're embarrassing yourself.
No, if they beat the Browns,
no,
I think all of a sudden they could get some hype. If all right,
no,
I'm saying they would likely be favored, but I wouldn't rule it out.
They'll be favored against.
Villain Rail has a bet. Villain Rail Skeletor has a bet.
What's that?
He says that he's looking at this bet here and just throwing it out there. 8-1. Saquon Barkley to have the most rushing yards in the NFC East,
Ooh.
and the Giants to make the playoffs.
Oh my God.
no,
What are you
no.
doing? No,
No, just take John.
But sit here and think about the rushing talent in the East.
Well, that I like.
And so that's and then you sit here and you have 7 teams in the playoffs. Freaking the other year, what was it? The Bears that were 8-8 and made the playoffs in the NFC. A 9-8 team can absolutely make the playoffs.
That's true.
Here's the thing, Terrell.
No,
why would
I
you?
don't care.
Why wouldn't you just take Saquon Barkley comeback player of the year? Then you don't need to correlate it with the.
Isn't that less hot? What else is that?
About the same, I think.
Yeah, I think that if you're so high on Barkley, I think I would take that on its own. And maybe Saquon gets their carries. I mean, he's a workhorse. He never misses games. I don't see any situation where he doesn't.
Sean knows what he's talking about.
Get to those carries.
I agree 100%. This is the first time that we've actually agreed to something on this whole show.
There's a lot of hate out there this year.
On who?
Stay safe, Terrell. Stay safe.
Walking through it. So I think you're right. They probably would be favored against Carolina. Probably the Bears.
Oh wait, hold on. I think I got it right here. Okay,
No,
I got it right here.
They are favorite. Carolina, Chicago, Houston, Detroit,
4
Washington.
games. 5. Okay, yeah, that makes sense. So they're favored in 5, dogs in 12 games.
And
This is insane. How are we a 1-point favorite at home to Washington, but when we go to them, they're a 3-point favorite?
Doesn't add up.
Doesn't.
Well,
at all.
I don't know if you've ever been to the new stadium. Not like a massive home field advantage.
Have you been to Washington?
No, not that theirs is better either.
Yeah, I mean, I think you're looking at 5 games they're favored with. We don't know how bad Seattle is. Like Seattle, is there a version where the Giants are decent and Seattle is god awful and they pluck one? I think it's it's fun. It's fun to point out that this is lower than the win total, but I think this is also a team that again there's reason to be optimistic, Sean.
No, I think to your point, all joking aside, bringing in Brian Daboll and cleaning out some of the old people.
Swamp is drained.
Is turning it around. I just look at the roster and there are just some massive glaring holes that I think are going to prevent you from getting 8 wins.
All right. We'll agree to disagree there.
No, I mean, I look forward to a world down, in the future in a couple years.
Absolutely.
Where we can have a rivalry again where it's like, hey, who's going to win the NFC East? I mean, I'm impressed Ryan still does the podcast because these last 10 years as a Giants fan,
John would be off the wagon after one season.
I would have given up. I would have been no longer.
Giants to finish 17-0 is 500 to 1. Just throw that out there.
All right, is that an official play?
No.
How many units are you putting on it? Terrell, what are your official futures? What else you got?
Hold on. Okay. Villanreal Skeletor said that he's 100% getting down on that 17-0 bet. Might as well,
I like his style.
0.2 units. 0.2 units is worth
0.2 units. Interesting. That's just the tip. I got Terrell down for a Giants Philly top 2 exacta box at 10 to 1.
Yeah.
Okay.
For sure.
I got both of us. We're both on that. We're both on division 9 to 1. We're both on over 7. And then I don't know, Terrell, do you also like the over at 8 plus 225? I feel like, and then you threw out a crazy one with Saquon Barkley.
Oh, that was Villanreal Skeletor there. That was his bet.
Does Terrell have any more angles or positive EV opportunities for the fans of the New York football?
I mean, fans? Daboll, you got to put down on Daboll to win Coach of the Year.
Okay, what is that?
The media they do seem to be fond of his bald head. Sean, you got to realize there's a certain charisma angle that people want him to succeed really badly. Yes. And so if it happens.
I know how the New York media will be all over Daboll. If they even get to 500, they'll be lapping him up.
I mean, you saw what he did for the Rangers, right? They didn't lose when he was in the building.
I don't follow Daboll.
You're a hockey guy, and yes, the Rangers didn't lose when Daboll was in the building.
Shout out to the Rangers. Shout out to Daboll.
That's a winning trend.
Shout out to Terrell coming on at @reallyRel _ there. Check him out. NBA Gambling Podcast, WNBA Gambling Podcast. You hear him on the College Football Experience as well, all over the map. Hey, make sure you toss.
Oh, wait, one more.
What
I
else
just
you got?
found it. I knew I was looking for it somewhere. Okay, found
I like
it.
that you found
New
one.
York Giants to beat the Dallas Cowboys, Washington Commanders, and Philadelphia Eagles at least once during the regular season, plus 280. I like it because I think we.
So
get
you're
at least
saying
one
3
win
and
against
3.
everybody.
So if you go 3 and 3, at least in the division,
Yep.
it cashes.
You
All right,
get
that
cashes.
I won't poo that one. Your perfect season bet. I would not be as high on.
You don't like
That was
one, Phillips?
Villanreal, by the way.
Daniel
I told you,
Jones?
I'm very objective here. It's all him.
I've emailed. I've already sent in a ticket to multiple actually outlets to basically say, including WinBet, Dan Jones. Please update your bet. But Dan Jones, comeback player of the year, 8-1. Throwing that in the official.
Head over to
I've given
WinBet.
that out before, but I'm giving that out again. Because again, Terrell likes 130-1 MVP. I'm gonna say safer bet. He's out of the chair. He's walking. His muscles look bigger. Haven't seen him run in the sand.
Terrell agrees with you. 8-1. Villanreal, however, is 100% on that 130-1.
You guys are maniacs.
Villanreal might have already actually put that ticket in, so might be sitting on that already.
It's a pizza bet, right?
Yeah, if you don't want to ever eat pizza, hey, toss us a nice rating review on Apple Podcasts. Write it up. Take a screenshot of you submitting it. Click the contest tab in the SGPN app. Submit it for free. Check out Terrell on Twitter, all over the place. @reallyRel_. And as always,
thank you for participating in the Sports Gambling Podcast.
For the Sports Gambling Podcast, I'm Sean, stacking the money green, and he is Ryan.
Shout out to John Jones in the chat. Really like Giants -2.5 week 11 versus the Detroit Lions.
Kramer, let it ride. Thanks, Terrell. Good stuff, man.
Yeah.